to the stream. There we are. There we are. I guess you got to push the button after all. After all. So, hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if we've got anybody in here yet. Miss Dana's here. Hi, Miss Dana. Everybody else is probably waiting for the commercials. I do know how that goes. Let's get this over here so I can see a little bit better. And there we are. Hi, good morning, everybody. How are you this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning? It is Tuesday, right? I never know what day it is. I believe it is Tuesday, yes. Oh, how is everyone? We have another cold day here this morning.
16 degrees.
16 degrees. Yikes. Yikes. Well, here comes our surprise guest. Ta-da-da!
Ta-da! Beep, beep, beep.
Well, right now, I think it's just you and me, Dana.
Okay, well, I just shared out the link, so we'll see what happens.
Good.
Yeah, that's all right. We can tell dirty jokes if nobody's in here. Have some hot potties.
Yes, we can. People are going to be popping in. I think they got to get through. They got to get through the commercials first before they.
Yes.
Show up.
Yeah, I had to wait for an ad.
Good morning, IDB.
Hello, IDB. I can't see the chat.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't have multiple.
I'll tell you what people are saying.
Oh, and I'm sure you're a reliable source.
I am a reliable source. Let me get. And again, I'm sure it's my settings, but for some reason, I don't get all of the chat on my. Whoops. My channel. I don't get all the chat on the computer.
I would show it on my tablet, which is right here next to me, but it's got my GPS on it, and I am coming into the LA area. So I'm going to leave the GPS up.
Yeah, leave the GPS up. That's fine. That's a good thing. Here, let me unplug this.
But good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So we do have a few people in here. Hi, Angela. How are you? Drinking your water?
Hi, Angela.
Making slipper socks. Look at you go.
I'm
going to pull out my crocheting.
Those are such great Christmas gifts. My stepmom used to make those for us. Of course, she knitted them, but they were wonderful. That kept our feet warm.
They do. In fact, I want to say I can remember knitting socks, little slippers. I was probably 12-ish.
Wow.
Me and my mom we're learning how to knit. That's weird because I remember she made this little hat. It was a beret and it was pink. And blue. She made pink ones and blue ones. And we all had these little beret hats. And sure it was knit. And then the little slipper socks, because I can remember doing the design up, and then you got to the toe part and it was a different design, and then you got to the toe and you cinched it up and sewed it together.
Wow.
But then later on, neither one of us knew how to knit. So we must have knitted for like 1 year or so and then never did it again.
Right.
And then both of us started. I crocheted off and on my whole life because I like many of us, my grandmother taught me to crochet when I was 7-ish. And and the funny thing is, I can clearly remember Grandma teaching me to crochet in the back seat of the station wagon as we were driving to Seattle to visit my aunt and my cousins. I have zero memory of my grandmother ever crocheting I don't ever remember seeing her crochet. So she must have set it aside while we were there. But I have all these doilies that she made. So that must be it. She must have set aside the crochet and didn't do it while we were visiting. And then later on, when we lived with her towards the end of her life, she probably was no longer able to crochet. And that's why I don't remember seeing her.
Probably. Yeah. So that makes me want to tell you about my first experience, if you don't mind. I'd like, because I would really like to find the person who taught me how to crochet the first time. I would spend the summers in the Dalles, Oregon, and the winters in Beaver Creek, Oregon with my mom. But in the summers, I was at my dad's. And down a block away from us lived the Gallegos family. Mary Lane, her brother Joe, and their father, George. And Mary Lane was probably a year or two older than me. But one time I was over there. I mean, this gal was talented. I just realized, I remember her playing the piano beautifully. But one day I went over and she was crocheting something. And I don't know if I asked or if she asked if I wanted to learn. She gave me a hook and some yarn. And now looking back, now I know that what she taught me was the granny square.
Yeah.
And because that used to be how everybody started out, right? So, yeah. So, but like Salena Baca says, that's a complex pattern. It really is. But she taught me it. And just from memory, when I went home, probably, a day or so later, I went back to Oregon City, and through the winter, or at least the next, I'm going to give it a month or two, that I was actually just continuing to crochet this thing. Mm-hmm. And my mare was pregnant. We were waiting for a colt in April. And I had determined that because I'm making this very large, wonky, several different corners on it, horrible granny square, that was going to be the baby's blanket.
Oh.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade when that colt was born. So, yeah. But here's the thing. I have lost track of Mary Lane Gallegos, and I have sent messages on Facebook to her brother with no response. Her family, now looking back, I realize her life wasn't very good through those years. She dealt with a lot of struggles with bullying at high school and her family, and I would really like to make contact with Mary Lane Gallegos, who grew up in the Dalles, Oregon. Just throwing that out there. Great gals.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So anyway.
So my people in here this morning, you may have noticed that this is Miss Dana, not Miss Salena.
I know, because we look so alike, right?
You guys do look very much alike. Yeah.
I look exactly like her, right?
Exactly.
Selena would be groaning right now.
So I don't know what happened. I sent her the link and she hasn't joined us. So she may pop in later. It could be a time zone thing. That does happen sometime. My guests get the time zone thing mixed up. If she pops in, we'll just add her right into it. And if not, you're stuck with me and Dana this morning.
Right. And I'm in Southern California, so I'll do my best not to start swearing.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
Saying wordy dirts.
Yep. So who do we have with us? We've got several people in this morning visiting already. We've got Ivy
Who's here?
Grace, of course, Miss Ivy. We've got Patty Barker. Hello. We have Sally Horner. Hooked by Deneen. Nice. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice.
Hi, Deneen.
I always feel like, do you guys remember Romper Room? Am I the only one old enough to remember Romper Room?
I remember the name, but I don't remember watching it.
Do you remember, Mister? Do you remember her name? The lady that did Romper Room.
No.
She would put this mirror up in front of her face, but there was no middle in the mirror. So she was holding this hand mirror, but you could see her face. Yes. And she'd say, and I see Sally, and I see Patty, and I see Dana. And, it was just these generic names. And you'd go, oh, she's saying hi to me. But she never said hi to Robbin, because that's a weird name back in the early 60s. Yeah. Never said Danine's name for sure. Never. Hi, Miss C.
So there's a good question. What is some of the earliest childhood programming do all of us remember watching?
Hi, Zara. I barely remember Romper Room. I can't believe I even remembered the name just now. Oh, Sally had a friend on Romper Room. So I thought as a kid, it was like in my town. As an adult, I'm sure it was not. But I have no idea where it was at.
Well, you didn't grow up in the Pacific Northwest, did you?
Yeah, I grew up right here in Spokane.
Okay, so do you remember the one out of Portland, Ramblin' Rod?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he would come in on this. He would come, like all the kids are sitting in that little miniature bleachers, right?
Uh-huh.
And on the studio, and Ramblin' Rod would come in on like a phony ship, like it's rolling in on this ship, and he's got his ship's wheel, and Ramblin' Rod in Portland, Oregon. I think it was Channel 2.
Mister said he remembers that.
Yes, Ramblin' Rod, and of course I don't remember like Howdy Doody, but I think it was done very similar.
Yeah.
As like Howdy Doody. And I also remember in the afternoons watching Gentle Ben, Flipper, Lassie, all those, and they were black and white.
Yes.
I really loved Gentle Ben. Gentle Ben.
And do you remember, what was Will Robinson? Danger, danger, Will. Danger, Will
I've heard that danger line many times, but I do not ever remember seeing that. Oh, and in the mornings, I would get dropped off at a babysitter or a daycare or something, and I remember watching Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Soupy Sales. Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes.
I don't remember that. Soupy Sales.
Okay, Danine said she's Canadian. She remembers the Friendly Giant and Mr. Dress Up. No. Nope.
Wow.
Hi, Peppermint. We've been missing you at bingo.
Peppermint Stitches?
Yes, Peppermint Stitches. White Fang and Black.
Hi. No, and what about Saturday morning shows? The Grape Ape, Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I always watch, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show in the afternoons on Looney Tunes. And, I loved all of that. Those are good memories.
Our kids watch those.
Sally Star. I don't remember that. Somebody said something here. I was trying to find it that I remember. Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop. Yeah.
I remember Lamb Chop. Yes, vaguely. I remember Lamb Chop. And the few times that I actually saw her with Lamb Chop, I loved it.
Mm-hmm. I was just trying to think of something else. What was the one, Punch and Judy, where they beat on each other? That was kind of weird. I just remember of that. I don't really remember watching it. And then, of course, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers.
Loved Mr. Rogers. Oh, yeah. And that little miniature town with the train. Mm-hmm. That is what always captured my imagination was, the miniature scene with the train coming in. That still gets me.
Yeah, I like that.
Because that's very creative. That's a creative thing. And I think those of us who are creative people, those are the kinds of things, at least I will hook onto mentally.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, yes, HR Puffin Stuff.
H&R Puffin stuff. Captain Kangaroo.
Kangaroo. Do you guys remember Mr. Green Jeans? Mr. Green Jeans. Oh, that was that Captain Kangaroo?
Yeah, Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Captain Kangaroo. Oh my gosh.
Those are fun memories. And, of course, Sesame Street and the Electric Company.
Sure.
When I was over at
the as much. I think by the time it came along, I was past that stuff.
Oh.
Because my little brother was basically Sesame Street. It's like I knew of it, but the only reason it was on at my house was because of my little brother.
Well, and the only reason I even know of it is because during the time frame I'm thinking of, Sesame Street was on first and the Electric Company was on right after. So.
Yeah. No, what are you saying, Patty? Chief Halftown? Halfton? Halftown?
Halfton? I don't know.
No, I haven't heard of that one. I've not heard of that one.
Those are good memories.
Yeah. Used to get up on Saturday morning and sit in my
gym. Get some cereal. Gotta have cereal.
Watch the Cheerios, sitting in front of the TV with the clicker because there was no remote, so you had to go over and change the channel. So no clicker.
Yeah. That's why I always sat 2-3 feet in front of the TV.
Yeah, so you could change the channel. The commercials with all this stuff for the kids that you shouldn't be having. And,
right, like cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never had the good cereal. We were poor as church mice. So, we had the Rice Krispies and the Cheerios.
Right. We did too.
The stuff out of the bag, not the good stuff.
Right. Well, we occasionally had some Captain Crunch. And then later on, as an older teenager, younger adult,
mm-hmm.
I wanted to know just why in the heck we never had peanut butter crunch in the house. I mean, seriously, who would deprive their kids that way? Or crunch berries, for crying out loud.
Oh, the crunch berries. I love the crunch berries. I love Captain Crunch. I have not had that, honey. Have we ever had Captain Crunch since we've been together? No. It's been at least 2 decades since I've had Captain Crunch. Put that on
because it's so bad for you. It's like,
and it's probably disgusting.
You know what? I don't know. I had it a few times in my 20s, and it was pretty dang good. But and I had a donut here about a week or so ago, and that's pure evil. But I sure love it.
Donuts.
I love
one in my car, actually.
How many here know what a buttermilk bar is? An old-fashioned buttermilk bar. Yeah, I looked that up on Google the other day, on Goo, and apparently that came out of a mom and pop donut shop in the LA area and was made famous. I mean, the shop wasn't made famous, but the buttermilk bar is known pretty much in every real donut shop I've ever been in. So if anybody wants to buy me a donut,
that's the one. Huh?
It's a buttermilk bar. Yeah.
You should have told me. I would have brought you a buttermilk bar.
I need one like I need a hole in the head.
Probably, and it would have sat right. Okay. So y'all know last week, was it last week? It was last week. Yeah. Miss Dana came strolling into Spokane, and don't call it that.
I was not in cuffs.
She wasn't under arrest. She wasn't escorted by the police. Although I did notice she had to take an alternate route from where the regular truckers are because she wouldn't fit that way. So she may have been hiding from the police. We'll never know.
I wasn't hiding from nobody.
So he says, hey, as long as you're not doing anything, go over to the grocery store and get this stuff for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we do our thing and we have our meetup and we go yarn shopping and
yarn shopping. Yeah.
She leaves and I'm driving home And I get home and I go to take my groceries out of the car, and there's the stuff that I bought for her sitting in the back of my car.
I ended up having to go to Walmart. Dang it.
Oh, we're such dorks. I should have put it in the front.
Oh, well.
I knew when I put it back there that I was going to forget it. I knew that.
We're old people. We are old people. So last night, I know. Well, last night I actually got to sit and crochet.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah, I actually got to sit and crochet, which I hadn't done since the day I was shut down in Northern California last week.
That's a long time.
Yeah, since before you and I went to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm very happy that I got to work on. I finished the one stripe for week 10 of my crochet along, and I just have to do the base row now, and then I can actually do the week 11 video, because I'm getting behind, you guys. I started this, in April? Like a long time ago, I started uploading these videos for this Afghan. I so wish there was more time in my life to crochet, because I've got all those great yarns and stitch markers and my first aid cards. Thank you, from Robbin. By the way, you guys, you can get explain to them what I got from you and how I got that when it comes to the first aid and the CPR.
Yeah, Miss Dana needed her first aid card updated, and my business, my company is we teach first aid and CPR, and because the ways of the world nowadays, I have the ability to do it online, and so I was able to teach. I was able to get her first aid and bloodborne pathogen and automatic external defibrillator certification online. The CPR portion you do have to do in person. So she and I went over that real quickly when she was here, so I was able to get that for her as well, because that part you do have to do in person in order for it to be legal.
It's a physical act. I mean, it's muscle memory too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of it's muscle memory. And there's always invariably somebody will say, oh, no, but we don't do hands-on anymore. Yes, we do. We absolutely 100% do hands-on. If you don't have the ability to do the hands-on portion, they still want you doing the other things. But what freaks people out is doing the breath, and doing the breath has freaked people out for decades. It's fine. Just do the breath. If you don't have a CPR mask, don't do the breath. And I don't know if I told you that, Dana. If you
I know that. I need to pick up a CPR mask.
Let me see if I still have some, because I had some that I was selling for a while. I don't know if I still have any in stock. If I do, dang it, I should have. Yeah, it's with the rest of my supplies. I didn't have one at the house when we met. But if I find one, I'll mail it off to you.
Okay, great.
And the kind that I have, they fold up in a little keychain, and you just hook it right on your key ring. So
that is awesome. A couple 2-3 weeks ago, I rolled up on a very fresh accident involving 3 cars, and I pulled over, called 911, and I wasn't the only one calling. And a family in a pickup truck ahead of the most furthest car in front of me, that guy had medical training, because I could see which vehicle was, smashed the most, and I hopped out of the truck and ran up there, and I'm thinking, Dana, what are you doing? You don't even remember any of your first aid training. But, what I came up on was, where that car ended up was smashed first into the guardrail, just like T-boned into the guardrail. The driver's side doors were open, and here was what I'm assuming was a grandmother holding onto her granddaughter, sitting on the pavement, had a huge gash on her head. I mean, I could see the bone, and there's blood all over both of them.
Oh.
And I am feeling helpless. And
Yeah.
I, grab the little girl's hand and I'm like, sweetheart, do you need some water? And Grandma looks at me and says, my water bottle is in the car. So we got their water bottle, and really that was all I could do for them. But
And a lot of times people say, oh, I don't know what to do. I wouldn't be of any use. Sometimes just, how it is, just being a comfort for someone in an emergency situation. Or sometimes the person who's been in the accident isn't thinking straight and tries to do something they shouldn't be doing.
Right. And
so,
we had kind of a situation like that too. But thankfully, the man, his wife, and their, older son, the man, they got up to them before I did and kind of assessed the whole thing. And the man turned to his son and says, go get my medical kit. He had a medical kit in his pickup. So
yeah.
Thankfully, somebody was there with some training. Now, Grandma was alert and conscious, and she was speaking, and, then pretty soon the ambulance came. So I went back.
Yeah.
And the young man was standing there, hands on his hips, looking at his car. 10 feet behind me is bloody grandma and granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. And I talk about this a lot, about lacking empathy when we're young. That sometimes that emotion really hasn't been developed in us yet. So I wasn't going to, chew him out saying, look what you did. But he's like, my car. And I said, and I touched him on the shoulder, kind of poked him in the shoulder. And I said, but you're okay.
Yeah.
It's like we think when we lose those, those big ticket items when we're young, that it's the end of the world. And then I went back to where my truck was, because I was kind of in between, all the action. And there was a man and his wife, Jasmine. Shout out to Jasmine if she's watching. She was in shock. She was cold. He had a concussion, and he was walking around babbling and taking pictures and videos. And yeah, so I ended up, at the request of the trooper, giving those two a ride down to the fairgrounds where they met their friends. So that is what spurred me on. And I was talking to Robbin, you guys, about how I need to get recertified. And thanks to her, now I am.
Yeah.
And it's not much.
And I love it. I love it when somebody asks, because I'm always harping on people. Dude, it's a couple of hours of your life to learn this stuff. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to do it perfect. You just got to do something. And even, especially with the CPR, I tell people all CPR is getting some oxygen in the body and moving it around. That's it. I mean, when you take it down to a base point, get some oxygen in the body and move it around. You don't have to worry about hurting anybody. You don't have to worry if they're going to survive or not, because the reality is, if you're doing CPR, they're already dead. And it's very unlikely that that person is going to survive. CPR saves organs, so that you can, maybe this person doesn't survive, but those organs just save the lives of 30 other people. CPR absolutely saves lives, just maybe not the life of the person you're doing it on. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard stories of somebody doing CPR on someone, and then some ambulance driver comes along and says, oh, well, if you'd have done it better, if you'd have done it faster. And that is just, that just
like
burns
you
me
need
up.
like you need that in your head, right? I mean, it was bad enough just for about a week or so after I had trouble sleeping. And it wasn't, I mean, it was a little traumatic, but it wasn't like I was watching people die or anything. But that was traumatic enough. And for, a medical person to tell me that, I'd have I'd have been a mess.
But I've also heard just as many stories of the person reviving, the person surviving. if you don't do it, you guarantee they're not going to make it.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the thing. You take a chance or nothing at all. We had to do, and the choking maneuver is, and here's the other reality. In your lifetime, you're probably never going to need to do CPR on anybody unless you are, working in a medical environment.
Right.
I do probably 90% of my customers are daycare providers. So I do probably half of the daycares in town are my clients. And I'm going to start crying here now. I've been teaching CPR for 25 years. And a couple months ago, one of my ladies who I've taught her for probably a decade, she called me up and she said, we saved a baby's life yesterday because of what you taught us. I know, a little baby. She was about 3 months old, and she stopped breathing. She was unconscious. Her heart stopped beating, and she said, all I could hear was you in my ear saying, just breathe. Just get some air in there and move it around. Don't worry about how perfect it is. Just get some air in there and move it around. And that baby survived. So no matter what happens in my world, I feel like I was instrumental in saving that baby's life.
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
It's hard to see the road when you're telling me stories like that.
I just loved it. And the fact that she called and let me know. How fabulous was that?
Oh,
man.
Wow.
So
I can only imagine the parents.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. La 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 la.
We talked about cartoons.
I want donuts. I want a donut.
Where's that donut?
I really need a donut now.
Oh my gosh. Nothing like downer. No, I'm not trying to be downer. I'm trying to say, do it.
It's so worth it just to keep that knowledge and that muscle memory up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was telling you, that was back when Wayne was still in Iraq. So 2006, something like that was when I first went and took my CPR and first aid class and got my card. And then how long do they last?
2 years.
2 years. So
it might have been 3 years.
Still, that was a long time ago. It was a icy snowstorm in Denver. I remember that.
Gee, that's unusual.
That never happens.
Never happens. Yeah. Not like Dallas where you can say, remember that year we got 6 inches of snow?
Oh yeah. Do you remember that time in Fort Worth when all those rigs crashed because of the ice?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that does.
I tease my daughter all the time because it's like they get one snowflake and the whole city shuts down. But the reality is they can't handle it. They don't have the equipment.
And it depends on I don't know what kind of snow they get. Because they're not experienced snow drivers. But I know in Colorado, when we first moved there, 99% of the snowstorms were that kind of light fluffy snow where if you had a snowblower or a leaf blower or a hair dryer hooked up to the front bumper of your car, it would blow out of the way while you went to work in the morning. Yeah.
Right.
But there's always that one storm in the spring that is wet and nasty, and people flip their cars.
Yeah.
Because that's an Oregon snow. Right. That's an Eastern Washington snow. Yes, and that is dangerous snow.
We had our first bad snow, not yesterday, a week ago Monday. And I was on here complaining about it. And we still have snow left over but we got 4 or 5 good solid inches. And this is my first year up on the hill. And I mean, I've lived here my whole life. I learned to drive in the snow. I can drive in the snow. It's not a problem. But we live on a hill like this, where this is the first road that they shut down every snowstorm.
Wow.
And we have found, there's 3 main roads to get off the hill. And the 2 ones on the side are just horrific. The one in the middle kind of goes down and over, down and over, down and over. So that's the only one you dare take. And I was supposed to go to a meeting last Monday, and I'm like, I ain't coming. Not happening. Not risking my life to come and sit there and BS
Right.
stuff. So,
Right.
I did not leave. And when we bought this house, I told people this is going to be a situation where when it snows, I don't leave. You know, I don't
Right.
have to go to work every day. You know,
Just-
whatever. I can't.
You
I'm
just
not-
stock up. You get everything you need in the pantry, in the fridge, or whatever, and
Yeah.
yeah, it never broke my heart to be snowed in. I used to live out in Peyton, Colorado, which is southernish, but it's eastern Colorado, and we would get snowstorms, and my 800-foot driveway would be under 6 feet of snow for a week.
Yeah.
Didn't break my heart. I liked being home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you stock up and you're prepared and you got lots of yarn,
Lots of
should be
yarn.
fine. Yeah,
Once I've got yarn and coffee and Diet Pepsi, I'm golden.
right? Yeah, I just can't run out of coffee because, oh yeah,
That would be.
there were times when I damaged my pickup sliding around out on my property trying to get out the driveway.
Mm,
Mama needed stuff.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And you know, it's like I'm not one of those people that, I mean, I used to when I was when I had kids at home, and we would have a good meal, and you would have your vegetable, and you would have your whatever. Now I'm like, what do we got? We've got, and I also have Mr. Cooking, so God knows what's going to show up on your plate.
Right. We have Hostess fruit pies and pasta. What are we having?
Exactly. And trust me, he's going to mix them together.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you laugh, but let me tell you.
So, yeah, you could take some kind of ribbon pasta and cook it up, let it kind of cool, and then coat it in a buttery brown sugar and sugar mixture. And brown sugar and cinnamon mixture. There you go, mister. There's your next pasta and fruit pie.
That's called kugel.
Kugel? Is it? Is it a thing? Okay.
It is a thing. Kugel it's a Jewish. I think it's Jewish. Yeah, we always have a big Jewish dinner here once a year. It's their fundraiser for this thing. And the side, I mean, they have the gefilte fish and this some of these things that is like, there ain't no way I'm eating that. But the kugel is basically a dessert, and egg noodles are the main ingredient.
Ooh.
It is so good. Have any of you guys
That sounds good.
It is so good.
Well, you can do it. Poor man's kugel. If you got pasta and sugar in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see Bridget's here, and of course it blocked your
Really? Queen Bridget's here?
Say hello.
I knew exactly what you were talking about when you said that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Every time, it doesn't matter what you say. It does not matter what you say. It blocks you, Bridget.
Oh my goodness. That is funny.
Just an update. You may have noticed that I have Miss Dana here, not Salena Baca.
But I'm just as pretty as Salena.
Just as pretty, just as smart, just as talented.
Well, I don't know about that.
we don't know for sure what happened to Miss Salena, but she's not here. And
she's not here.
She's not here, you know, and that's why I was saying it can be an internet thing. It could be a time zone thing. It could be I thought it was Monday thing. I've done that.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Weren't we doing this tomorrow? This week? You're talking like in the AM? Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
That too. I've had a lot of people. They'll go, that's like 4 a.m. for me. No, hun, it's the other way around.
The other way around. You're 3 hours ahead of me, not behind me. Yeah.
Yep, I
But
get that a
let me
lot.
tell you guys about my experience with Salena
Yes,
in the
please do.
Dalles. Those of you who weren't there, um, she was so amazing. She started texting me on Friday evening saying, "Hey, we're on our way." And she got there and we all got in because we were all sitting in the lobby doing a people watching thing. Now, that was a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. That's a Pacific Northwest Yarny social story. But and so we were sitting in the lobby Friday night, all of us crocheting and people watching, and I'm sitting there looking up at the backs of these, the back of these heads up at the registration desk, and I said, "I think Selena's here." And sure enough, I called her name and she came over and we all said hello. And then I let them go. It was kind of late. So I let them go to the grill and eat their dinner. And then I went in with them and sat down while, they were just kind of resting, and had a great conversation with her and her plus one friend. Trying to think of her name. She was wonderful. Both of them were just wonderful. And the next day was like Salena Baca Day. And I was just like, a little kid watching Sesame Street, um, just listening to her talk and the expertise. And I mean, we talked about anything from pricing to stitches and tension and patterns and how they're written. And it was such valuable information. While we were sitting there, one thing we did discuss was pricing. And she has a more professional view of pricing your time and your products than I did. And I thought, that I was, encouraging people to price what, our works of art are really worth. Don't be afraid to price yourself out of the market. But that's what it's worth. And we need those standards kept up. It's not about making the sale. It's about getting, the standards up for our fiber arts, the way an Amish quilt is.
Yeah, nobody blinks an eyelash at $3,000 for an Amish quilt.
Oh yeah, and that anymore. That's cheap.
We went to what town was that? Where those were? Pennsylvania. We went there on our little tour, and when we left town, when we went on our trip, I told Mister, I said, we are going to Amish land, and I am buying a quilt, and it's going to be several $100. So you need to be prepared for that. Boy,
several $100. That's hysterical.
I walked in the door, and first of all, you don't walk in the door barehanded. You put on white gloves. They don't want you touching anything. They don't want you breathing on anything. No pictures. Oh. This is artwork, and they don't want your grubby little hands all over it.
Well, and that gives more of the value to their items, right? Yes. You're already feeling, you're either, pulling, a Dana going, give me a break. Let me pick my nose and go walk around, because I'm like that. But you're already getting that impression. Yes. They are creating more value, valid value for their products.
Yes. So every one of them they're not just all folded up in a pile. They're hanging like those fancy rugs are when you go to the real rug store, not Costco. So each one of them is hanging, and it has the name of the product, the designer, the size, and the price in tiny little letters. You couldn't touch one for under $1,000, and I'm talking crib size for over $1,000.
Right.
The size that I wanted was in the $3,000 to $5,000 range.
Right.
I got a chain.
Right. Well, and let's compare this to all I know is crochet, okay, and knitting. I'm not a knitter, but you are. Okay, so we're talking, if it was knitting, we're talking Stephen West, maybe even a higher quality than that. When you're comparing Amish quilts, where, you know, a Dana Bernhardt original, I'm going to charge a couple $100 at minimum for an Afghan. I'm going to charge more for an Afghan like the Montana, like Tina's Mosaic Montana pattern. You know, I'm going to charge $300 to $400. Yeah, Tina. Yeah. Well, you know, where you're looking at, you know, somebody else, you know, somebody who's been crocheting for, you know, 40, 50 years, and they're putting out magnificent works of art, you know, that is the equivalent to an Amish quilt. But we have to use their example and not undervalue ourselves, because how is that? And you know, I'm all about promoting whatever our art is. How does that promote our art to the muggles, the people who don't?
It devalues all of it, not just you. It devalues everything. And how many
times devalues all of it.
Yeah. And I know every one of us, and Bridget, you probably have that same thing. Every one of us has had this conversation with somebody. Would you make me a hat? Yes, I'd love to make you a hat. How much is it? How much will you charge me to make me that hat? Well, do you want Walmart yarn, or do you want this beautiful merino wool? Oh, I want that. Okay, this hat's going to cost you $50. What? I can go to Walmart and get it for $5. Well, then go to Walmart and get it for $5. Right.
We had a person who used to live in our little town in Idaho who would charge $5 for her character hats. And she would have a table full of them at every single fair in town, in the county. And so everybody else who's making the most delicate, the most beautiful works of art can't sell let's say a baby dress with a matching little cardigan and matching socks or booties and a hat for more than $15 a set because of this other person. And I don't know how many times I said, ignore those $5 ends hanging out character hats. Ignore them. I have lost sales because of her, and I didn't bat an eye. When a friend of mine, another horsewoman in town, came to me and said, I want my niece or my granddaughter to have one of these pink troll hats. Well, that means taking hot pink yarn and combing it out to make troll hair on this hat. And I quoted her, and this was when I was just starting out. I still had better quality than the other lady, and said $40, right? Yeah. And she went with the other lady.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her. I don't blame her, because we have not positioned ourselves as artists. And of course, at that point, I wouldn't have considered me an artist, but I was better than the other lady, and I knew, and I had some sense of value of my work. But, you know, today I would charge $60 for that hat.
Yeah. Yep.
She charged 10 or 15 for that hat.
The thing is, and I think it was Spring that was talking about it. She had somebody walk up to her and said, oh my gosh, I love that shawl. Can you make me one just like it? She said, yes, I can. But if you want it just like this, the yarn is going to cost you almost $100.
Right.
And then there's me. People, again, muggles don't understand how much yarn costs. Even inexpensive grocery store yarn. Goodbye, Miss C. Thank you so much for popping in.
Bye, Mrs. C.
Hi, Pinky Jean.
Pinky Jean's here.
Oh my gosh. You guys, if you want to see something amazing, I was stunned. First of all, go watch Pinky Jean. But second of all, go watch Pinky Jean cut her own hair And I don't mean just trimmed her bangs. I mean she's razoring up the back and doing the bob thing. It's $100 haircut if you went anywhere. I just sat there stunned. I'm like, how can you?
She is multi-talented lady.
Yeah, it was. And she said she's cut her hair all the time. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, did you get a super chat? Super chat! Yay!
Don't forget it. I didn't slam my cup down.
So now her name goes in the basket, right?
Yep. And
awesome.
This is the official basket right now. I'm writing everybody's name down. And because if I put it, I was putting it on little sticky notes, and then I put it on sticky notes and put them in a bowl, and somebody cleaned it up and dumped my sticky notes.
Mister.
So I had to go back to the previous videos and rewatch and see who had given me stuff.
I blame Mister.
He thought it was, to be fair, he thought it was left over from the drawing I did last month. He didn't know I'd already restarted. So
you better ask before you ever throw anything like that away.
No. We have
let that be a lesson.
15 times a day we have this conversation. So it's in my official big YouTube book that he won't touch this. So
okay, good.
And if people donate more than once, I just put a tick mark next to their name. So when I'm ready to do, as has Miss Sally, when I'm ready to do the drawing, your name will go in that many times. The other day,
pretty awesome.
We have this. Oh, Pinky! Yay! Yay! Thank you. I have this box, and it's an empty box. Okay, a normal person would think an empty box can go in the garbage. First of all, I am not normal. Never, ever have I claimed to be normal. But it's a square box, and it's inside of my pantry. The top shelf of my pantry is about, there's like 5 feet of space up there. So I put this box in there, and I can put stuff in the box that I can pull out and put back, and I can put stuff on top of the box. So I've now created another shelf, basically.
Right.
I threw the box away. I opened the pantry, and I said, where is my box?
I'm surprised this guy is still breathing. There's got to be something good going on there, too.
There is.
Yeah.
Pinky Jean.
Pinky Jean!
With the cute haircut. I was stunned. I watched that, and I'm just like, what is she doing? What is she doing? Oh, dear God, she's shaving her head. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
The only reason I even knew it was a thing, and it's so darn cute, you guys. It is so cute. Miss Morgan does that.
So tell me about shaving your head.
Okay, so and I'm going to say it wrong, but basically she pulled up the hair from the back and then shaved like the bottom couple 3 inches here. So then
so the little chicken hairs.
Yeah, and then no, it's more than that. She shaved like clear up to here.
Yeah.
Like this much.
And then does she have short hair on top, or does she have long hair?
So she cut the back about like this, and then down in what we used to call a page boy.
Yes, cute.
So cute. And I think that shaving underneath keeps it from sticking up in the back. Am I right, Pinky? Is that why that happens? Yes, Sally. No, there's no poor mister going around here.
Hold it. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, well, Sally's on your side. She doesn't know what it's like dealing with you. So we're giving no sympathy to Mister.
Yeah. It's pick on Mr. Day.
You think she is?
He was picking on me during my giveaway party. So it's
I know.
Little payback. Ornery. Just a little bit of payback.
He's ornery. Poor Morgan. She's so funny. I'll be yelling at Mister for something on the rare occasion that I yell at him for something like 15 times a day. Miss Morgan will be, and I'll go, Morgan saw you. Morgan saw you. Morgan heard you. And she's like, I ain't getting in the middle of this.
I
Yeah. Or he'll do something like run the water every single time during my live. Before the live starts, I turn to him and I say, do not run the water. Okay. 10 minutes later, he's in the kitchen running the water.
I would forget too. I would absolutely. No, I'm not making excuses for him, but I know that
I think it's.
I would forget.
So
you think it's intentional?
Yeah. And it's not, it doesn't bother me as much during bingo, but when I have a guest on and we're trying to have a very important yarn conversation and he's in there running the water and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you
disrespecting me, mister?
I was so angry at him. And I had the water conversation. He goes in there and he's running the water. Morgan came out of her room, saw me glaring, saw him running the water, and she just turned around and went right back in her room. She's like, ain't no way I'm coming out for this.
That's so funny. Howard!
There have been times where I have muted this, smiled at the camera, and I am reaming on him. Turn off that water!
Oh, man.
In fact, let's do a test. Let's do the water test. Y'all tell me. Okay, turn it on. There, we've got water running, and I'm talking. And at this point, I'd want to scream at him. Could you guys hear the water running?
Wait a minute. Do it again. I had my thing turned down.
Okay, you guys, my.
I can hear it. I could hear it, but it almost sounded like wind. Also, I mean, not like the deep, wind over the microphone kind of wind, just like wind in the leaves.
So maybe I shouldn't yell at him as much.
Oh, I didn't say that. That's funny.
We don't want to go that far.
Oh, we don't want to go that far. I mean, all men need a good screaming at 2, 3, 5, 10 times a day, just so that they stay in their lane.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
Poor guy. he's getting beat up by the women today.
Yeah, I'm sure it is worse on my end. And of course, I'm very conscious of it because, when we're filming, we're very conscious. I just glanced up and there's a big old cow face on the TV.
Is it a Highland cow?
No, it was a regular cow, mostly a nose.
Holstein.
Probably a Holstein. The Holstein is kind of the iconic cow picture.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or a Hereford.
Well, and it was a dairy commercial.
And a Hereford. Oh, so it's dairy, so it'd been a Holstein.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And Herefords, I don't see a lot of Herefords as much. They're not as popular as they used to be as far as commercial beef goes. It's Black Angus, and Red Angus is making a comeback, but less Herefords, less and less Herefords.
You know why?
Why?
Because they're not really a beef cow. They're a milk cow.
Are they?
They have no butter fat in their milk, so you can see through it. You can read a newspaper through a glass of milk.
On the Hereford or on the Angus?
On the Hereford.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to use that one as a milk cow. I want some fat in there.
That's why you don't see Hereford as a milk cow. But they don't taste as good as a Black Angus because they don't have the same genetic.
Right.
Yeah, they're not bred for beef.
Yeah.
They're not bred to eat.
Yeah. I heard, and I heard this from a fairly aged meat cutter, someone who's been doing it his whole life, that Holstein beef is fabulous.
Yeah.
If you like yellow fat.
If you like what?
Yellow fat.
Yellow fat.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Fat is not white.
It's just like the chickens. The ones from Arkansas are a different color than the ones from Washington. One is more yellow and one is more white. So
one's more dense.
Yeah, it's the way they're raised and bred and all
Right. And I try to get to the meat counter earlier in the day, like in first thing in the morning. It's like, if you got any chuck eyes back there that you haven't trimmed,
Yeah.
or even ribeyes that you haven't trimmed the fat off, please, I'm begging you, give me that fat steak.
Give me the fat. Give me the fat.
Oh man.
Give me the fat.
They breathe the fat out of a lot of that beef, and it's like, that's where the flavor is. That's where the energy is, and there are a lot of health benefits from that. So, yeah, give me that fat steak. I want some fat cow. Now I want some fat cow. I had chicken for breakfast.
Oh, yum. Hi, it's Our Abundant Life. Good morning. Thank you for popping in.
Good morning, Our Abundant Life.
Did you guys hear the other day when
I love the name of that.
Yeah, you got a great name. The other day when Charlie was on, the Christmas tree guy, he said that they have bred the scent out of trees, out of Christmas trees, because people complain.
He was saying that.
And I'm like, that's why I want a real tree. I always buy a real wreath just so I can have that scent. I love it.
I want a real noble fir grown in the Pacific Northwest, and I want it to smell like a pine tree.
Yeah.
Right there in Portland.
Yeah.
Or a fir tree, I mean. Noble fir. That is my favorite Christmas tree.
Yep. Hi, Miss Nana Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Look, no hands! Ah! Sorry, I didn't mean to scare anybody.
Aren't you guys glad that Dana came on and saved the day? I'm like, crap. Selena's not in here yet. I texted Dana about 10 minutes beforehand. Selena's not here yet. Are you ready to come on? Sure. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I knew that I'm going to be doing 20 miles an hour through the valley. So here we are.
Yay. We love Miss Dana. Oh my gosh.
Anywhere from 5 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Okay, so what are we working on? You're working on the turtle blanket or pillow.
It's going to be a pillow. And the turtle part is done.
So beautiful.
I'm so proud of this. I'm turn
it around.
Hold on, I'm going to hide you. I think I know how to do this. So
yeah, hide me.
There. Okay. Where's that? Get that yarn out of there.
Show it again. Show it again. We only got a part of it.
Well,
look at that turtle, you guys.
Isn't that beautiful? How do I do this? There we go. I am so proud of this thing.
And I wouldn't say this was your first mosaic project ever, but it is your first substantial project.
Yeah. Okay, now how do I get out of this? Exit. Okay. So the first thing I made, I got it right here. I've got it right here.
Your mug rug?
My mug rug, which actually turned into a plant rug. It's a little too big for a mug rug. But this is the only other thing I ever mosaic did, was this little thing.
I love it.
So I'm pretty proud of myself. I am pretty darn proud of myself. And look at that. It's so beautiful. And of course, part of the beautifulness of it is the pretty colors. The colors are just stunning.
The colors you chose for that turtle are beautiful.
It's perfect. They're just perfect. Because, it's a sea turtle type thing. And the instructions said, most people make this into a pillow, but I framed mine. Well, I need instructions for finishing this. So there was no instructions for finishing this into a pillow. So what I decided to do is just double crochet. And I'm using that linked double crochet. Look how solid that is, you guys. If you want a blankie with no holes in it, linked double crochet. No holes at all. I
love that fabric. Yeah, so was that a pretty good, like a regular double crochet piece of fabric that you make, you can get a pretty good rhythm going. Was it the same way with that linked?
It's a little slower. It's a little slower, but only mostly because, when I'm doing a double crochet, I literally don't even have to look at it. I know where the next stitch goes and I'm doing this, right? I have
Right.
to look
Yeah.
because I know you guys won't be able to see what I'm doing, but here, let me start it. The way you link it is you put the hook into the previous stitch. So you have to find that exact spot. And that's the only thing that slows me down at all. So
like into the side of the actual post of the stitch, like go through the middle of the post?
There's a piece of yarn that I don't even know how to describe it. When you look at your double crochet, when you look at your double crochet, let me see if I can do this.
There's like bars and there's like,
there's like bars.
Vertical, there's bars.
Yeah, so that's what you're doing is you're grabbing that bar from the stitch you just finished. You put the hook down into that bar. Then you put
behind you
through.
Behind you.
Put your 2 on there. And now I go into the next stitch and do my double part, just like the double. So instead
you go into the stitch behind you.
You're starting in the one you just finished.
Okay.
It took me, I had to watch 2 videos. The first lady's video, I wasn't putting my hook in the right spot. The second lady's video made it perfectly. It was perfectly clear. And it was just, having to see it from a different angle. And so
I tell people, when I talk to people about, doing tutorials, don't do the same thing everybody else is doing.
Right.
But there's also, if you're doing something a little bit different, if there aren't that many videos on, let's say the double crochet, let's say there were only 5 videos out there. And when you learned the double crochet by watching all 5 of these videos, there was something that you eventually learned that you did not learn from those 5 videos.
Yeah.
So, then it's like, do it. Do that video, do that stitch. But sometimes you come across, a stitch where it's like, there are 50 million videos out there, and there's especially a small handful that are so perfect, there's no point in just putting up a video when there are perfect ones out there. But for something like this, I would say do it. When you and emphasize what it was that you had to figure out.
Right. And for me, it's almost always, I can't see where your hook is going.
Right.
It doesn't really tell me. And the other thing and I know people know this, but they're probably just not thinking about it. If you're using navy blue, I can't tell what you're doing. If you're using black, if you're using dark green, I can't tell what you're doing. And the other thing that I have
some of the lighter colors too.
Or they'll have the background will be this real busy. I was looking at one and it was like a field of strawberries. Well, that's lovely, but I can't see what you're doing because it's so busy against this. So the one thing that one lady does often, and I love it, is she'll be showing me this stitch with a different color yarn. So I can see where she's pulling that yarn through. I can see what it looks like on the stitch. And that really helps me to visualize what I'm supposed to be doing.
Just because you've got a light yarn and a dark background, it doesn't matter. You really have to look at that video and see if there's enough definition just in the video.
Yeah.
To see where the hook goes and see those, the construction of the stitch before, during, and after doing the stitch. And I don't know.
The other thing I found is if you're watching somebody, and I can't think of a single name right now, but if you're watching somebody and they've been doing tutorials for 5 years and their hag stitch tutorial was 5 years ago, find one that is more up to date, not because of the stitch, because typically when people first started doing tutorials, they didn't do as good a job as they do now.
Right.
And
Yes.
so, and I have actually seen people say, you know, I did a tutorial for that a few years ago, but it's really bad. So I'm going to be redoing that video.
Right. Right.
And it's just because, like anything else, you get better as you go along. You know, everybody that's on the YouTube channel, your first couple of videos were horrific, and you hope nobody ever sees them. Hey, Leslie, good morning.
Leslie Quilter?
Yes.
She's our, Utah trucker. That's our Utah trucker right there.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, she lives in Utah. She drives truck. We've met up. We wave when we pass each other on I-84. And yeah, and she's a crocheter and a half. Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, Leslie.
Somebody else popped in. Oh, hey, Smiley Lady. Hi there. So what I'm doing now, long story long, is I'm just doing many rows of this linked double crochet, and I'm going to do it the length of the back, and then I'll do another one on the other end about this long, 6 or 8 inches long, and so it'll be a flat. So I'll be able to stick the pillow form inside of there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll just have the two sides to crochet together.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'll put I don't even really want to put a button on the back. I just want to make it big enough that she can easily take the pillow form out if she wants to wash it.
So it's an overlap, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of like an envelope type thing.
Yes. Yes.
So I thought that was the best way. And I chose the blue because I had more blue yarn than I had black. And I don't want to buy any more. I'm still on the first skein of the blue, but I'm getting right down to it. I'm definitely.
So it wasn't exactly a yarn eater then.
No, not at all. I bought.
Okay.
It's not the regular tiny size. It's the Caron Jumbo. So I will use all of one, but that's including the back and however much of a second one, and then the black was just a mainstay that I had hanging around. So this is just, Walmart $3.50 yarn, basic mainstay. So including the pillow form, and I got my pillow form the day that you and I went shopping, and it was on sale at Hobby Lobby for $9.50. So all in, this is going to cost me in the neighborhood of $25 for think a pretty stunning piece.
So if your base cost is about $25 to $30 for that big of a pillow,
it's a 24-inch pillow form. So this is big pillow.
And it's done in mosaic, that turtle. Oh, those colors. Yes. That is amazing.
If I was going to sell this to somebody, I would charge $100. And that's just off the top of my head. Okay, so
here's what I have a homework assignment for you. Figure out, just guess, how many hours you put into that. And then go to the pricing calculator on the American Crochet Association website. Mm-hmm. And whenever, you don't have to do it. I'm not saying doing it right now, but today, my challenge to you before the end of the day is to make a post in the community, under your community tab, what you were thinking, when we were just discussing, and you were thinking $100. How close is that to what her calculator comes up with?
I bet hers would be more. And I'll tell you why. Because it's actually taking me longer to do this back than it did to do the front.
But still, that's your time. Yeah. And you're the artist, and you came up with a beautiful piece of home decor.
And it's big.
It's big. It's physically big, and it is elegant. Mm-hmm. It has all of these beautiful things going for it. And I would like to. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What the American Crochet Association calculator comes up with for that.
We're going to do this right now because now I want to know.
Okay. And then I want to tell you a quick story about that. I want to tell everybody a quick story about pricing from the Yarny Social.
Okay, so tell me where I need to go to find it.
Okay, so just go to your search engine and put in American Crochet Association. I would put calculator.
CROCHET Association.
No thanks.
Calculator. See what it says. Crochet price calculator. American. Oh, there's a YouTube video.
Yes. Okay, but there's a calculator.
Yeah, the calculator is the YouTube video.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry. There's Salena. Yeah, no, and on the website, there is a formula page.
All right, let's go back to the website. Stop losing money. How to price your crochet.
Is that from the ACA?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And I think it's just a formula page.
Mm-hmm. Click here. Click here. Okay, we're clicking here.
Okay.
Bye, Pinky. We'll see you later.
Bye, Pinky.
You have an amazing day as well. I can't wait to show you the sweater my friend got me. Miss Pinky Jean is all about the flamingos.
Yes, she is. Yes.
All about the flamingos. And here's a little tippy tip. If anybody sends her a flamingo and she shows the flamingo and she'll say, we got to name this guy. That's your clue to submit a name on that video. And then she will pick from those names to name that flamingo. And then you
wow.
Okay. Your hourly rate. Number of hours to complete your project. Okay. So when did I get back from my trip? I need a calendar. Oh, look. Oh, look. There's a calendar right here.
Oh, look.
Not that page. Not that page. Where is October? Here we go. So I started it about right there. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I've been working on it for 20 days. So about 3 weeks. And I'm roughly say 2 hours a day. And I'm probably going to spend
40. So that's 40.
25 days. Let's say 25 days. Wow.
So 50 hours. 50 hours. Wow. Put it in. Put it in your formula.
I'm putting it in there. 50 hours. Materials. I got it on sale. I'm going to say $30.
Okay.
Because I'm going to use part of that second skein. We're not going to say tax and ship. No way.
What does it say?
It says $1,500.
Oh, yes.
Well, we know that's not happening.
Well, I don't know. You know, she has a valid point. We are undervaluing what we have. Now, you are giving your friend a huge gift.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to the value of your gift, yes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys this story. A lot of you guys have seen, you know, I've got a tutorial out there for a wiggly crochet trivet, hot pad, right? Wiggly crochet. That Susan Lohman made famous with all of her wiggly crochet projects. So I just have a basic wiggly crochet hot pad trivet pattern graph that I make mine out of. And I took that with me to the Pacific Northwest Yarny Social. And there was a local gal named Rose. Shout out to Rose. She's got a bakery, handmade bakery, like homemade bakery business, small business there in town. And she just showed up paid her fee, and she was a delight. We so loved her. But she had never heard of Wiggly Crochet, and she tried it one day. And she loved it. And that night that we were people watching, Friday night, this woman, she had her dog Butters. Now, Butters is a whole nother story. But here comes Butters and Butters' mom. And she's like, what is this? And she's like grabbing it, her wiggly trivet. And Rose was working on her second one because she loved it so much. She goes, I want to know how much to buy this for. Well, Rose is like a deer in the headlights. She's never sold anything, right? And so the next day, we were having our Salena Baca day, and we had discussed pricing. And this woman was getting ready to leave for the weekend, and she came marching into the room there, the ballroom, and she stands in front of Rose, and she goes, okay, now you've got 2 of them. How much for both? And Selena's behind her doing like baseball signs, right? Telling her, $40 for both. And
reasonable.
finally, and Rose, I think, was a little worried about, shush up, Rhoda. Rose was a little worried. She's like, I'm going to lose this sale. This woman's going to make fun of me, fear of rejection kind of thing. You could see it all going in her head. Finally, she says, $40. And the woman says, done. $40. Sorry about that. Rhoda is
8 smiley ladies. Says
$40.
Yeah, $40. That sounds very reasonable. She's saying when you calculate your price, count the yarn at full price because you're not always going to get it on sale. And
that is a good point.
And what yarn costs were last summer compared to this summer are 2 different worlds.
Absolutely. $1,500 for your turtle pillow. Okay. Surprises me a little, but then from what I've been learning,
50 hours of work.
I think, if you were to do a gallery, let's say you did an art gallery of your work.
Oh, yeah.
And you had a room where, one of your pillows was up. Let's say you did, a mosaic queen size blanket, and all of your work, $1,500 for that pillow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Salena taught me that. And I was always the one that was saying, you guys are undervaluing your projects. But then Salena took it to another level.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I'm so sorry she's not here to expand on that. But we learned so much just in one short afternoon of her talking and her answering our questions. It was amazing. And it was so amazing for that sale to happen in front of us after she had this discussion with us.
Yeah.
It just cemented it in my mind.
Well, and I think it also depends, of course, on your audience. And I remember who I was talking to the other day, and she was saying she lives in a tiny little town of a bunch of farm people, and they're not paying a couple $100 for a pillow or a shawl. But you go on Etsy, and you market it. It's easy to sell those things. I've seen hats on there, a handmade wool hat for $100, and they can't keep them in stock.
Yep. So, okay, so you recently did a craft show, like a show with your friends, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did that go?
I'll tell you the problem. It did not go well at all.
No.
Well, no. Oh, are you saying, oh, no, for something you're driving?
No, about your craft show, show.
It was weird because we weren't there to sell a product. We had a handful of things for sale, but the purpose of us being there was to get our name recognition, because what her company
is brand awareness. Brand awareness.
And here was the problem that we had. So it's my dear friend. I call her my sister. My dear friend opened it's called ART, A-R-T. And the idea is you come in there and do a craft. You do diamond painting, or you make these cool light doohickeys, or you do the like the sip and paint type things, or you do the palette painting.
Okay, so you come in, you purchase your products for the art, and you do your art while you're sitting there.
When you buy a class, she hands you everything you need to make it.
Right. Yes.
So
yes.
everything is there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So you're purchasing a craft class.
Okay.
So we do the crochet classes. We do acrylic classes. We do anything you can think of. She'll put a class in. We're going to do a wreath class, a Christmas wreath class. So it's kind of like, it's taking a class, but instead of going to a yarn store to take a class, you're coming to her store to take a class. She provides the refreshments. If it's a sip and paint, you're getting she does kids' birthday parties where they come in and do a craft thing. And she also has a selfie studio downstairs, which I had no clue because I'm old. And basically these kids, they go to a selfie studio and they've got all these different scenes set up. She's got a 50 scene. She's got a ball crawl scene. She's got a donut room. And so you go in there and you take your picture with all this stuff. Who knew that was a thing?
I want the donut room. I want a donut picture. I want a donut selfie. That's exactly what I want.
Of course you do. So next week I will do a picture in the donut selfie room. So
thank you.
So now she opened this, and it's in this beautiful old brick building in a row of storefronts. There's an antique store, there's a yoga studio, and it's in this cute little part of town, this little neighborhoody thing. She opened her business the day before everything got shut down for COVID.
Oh, no.
So it has been there for 2 years. It has been sitting there for 2 years. It is now invisible because people have been driving by for 2 years and had no idea. It's not a new store. It's invisible.
Wow. You need
Yeah. So
you need some brand awareness and some big blow up man out there.
Yeah.
Dancing.
So what we did was we got a booth at the county fair, and we're selling a handful of these little things, but pushing, here's our schedule, here's a 20% off card, this is where we are. And everybody would go, oh, I know where that is. Oh, I've driven by there. Oh, I wondered what that was. But the other problem is she's never open because we don't have anything for sale. So she's only open when we have a class. There's no walk-in customers. There's no walk-in. So we're totally redoing everything. So what we're doing now, that's why I work there on Saturdays now. So we've got some just open hours where people can walk in, and when they come out of the yoga studio next door, they can pop in. When they come out of the ski shop down the street, they can pop in.
Okay.
And so
selling
stuff was secondary. But just to tell you how bad the sales were, I had some very beautiful high-end yarn, some alpaca blends, beautiful meringos. I was selling for $15 a skein.
Wow.
I sold 2 skeins in the course of 10 days. So it was the wrong venue for that kind of thing. Now, we get into a craft fair, I can't keep that stuff in stock.
Right.
People are going, oh, dear God, are you kidding me? That's $15. Do you have any more?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were in the right venue for what we were trying to accomplish, which was to have people see us and thousands and thousands of people, over the course of 10 days. Probably.
Well, yeah, the sales are down, but the value of that was the awareness.
Yes. And she got that. And she already signed up for next year. So,
okay.
And they're doing all the little craft fairs at the high schools and that kind of thing, and having great response.
Good.
So
good.
Ours is a different thing. We're not really selling a product.
Right. You're selling a service.
If I have anything, if I do a couple of hats, she'll throw it in there for sale, because we do have things up front for sales, little things like that. Morgan's making those hair scrunchies, and so we've got a basket of those up there for sale. And, talk about pricing. She sells those for $5 a piece. And again, I think for the product, it's a fair price. It's scrap yarn that she's using, and she's just learning how to crochet, and she loves doing it. So she'll make 2 or 3 or 4 in an evening while she's at work. And if she gets $5 a piece for them, she's thrilled.
Okay, so I have a suggestion for that, and it's just an idea that's never been proven.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go on, not eBay, the other one, Amazon, and I want those black elastic hair ties.
Yes.
You can get them specifically for regular hair, for thick hair, and for fine hair.
Yeah. All
according to the size. So you could diversify a little bit more than the next hair scrunchie person. And let me tell you, for this person with fine hair, and I get the ones that are made for fine hair, mine doesn't have a lot of ruffles in it because I don't have a lot of hair for that to complement, right?
Uh-huh.
So I do so many just around in a half double crochet, and then my next round is, let's say, 3 half doubles in the top of every stitch around, and that is it.
Oh.
So less is more if you went with fine hair.
Okay.
The bigger the hair, the bigger the ruffle, right?
Yeah. And of course, you do the school colors, and what I find in that environment is the little kitschy things.
Is what?
The little kitschy things are what sells.
Right.
The dish rag, and the maybe a dish rag dish towel set would sell. There he is.
No.
Oh. Okay. And
I would also take something that you don't expect to sell, but something like your pillow or a queen size mosaic blanket, and display it in a beautiful way, and actually put a small price tag on it the same way they present it, the way they did at the quilt shop.
Yeah.
And get your gut used to the for crap, the who does she think she is reaction. But you will also get that is amazing.
Because, and here's the thing. So my friend whose shop this is, she's the person that will go into a shop and see this for $1,500 and buy it. Because she's got the money, and she knows the value, because she's seen me do this my whole life, and she knows how much work is involved in it. Right.
And something that has always been my impression of Spokane in my limited experience of being there, and just looking around, even though I do see some of the whole homeless thing, but I also see a very eclectic group of citizens.
Yeah.
Very eclectic.
It's a big art community. You wouldn't think so.
Yes. I remember the other day when I got off on Division Street before I got lost. Yes, Leslie, I got lost. Laugh at me. So, driver on tour. Before I got to that point, I was admiring the different lives, the different personalities. And I thought you can tell there's an art community there. You know, it isn't all the wheat farmers and
no, not at all.
And you know, militias. Yeah, which there's some of that up there, but there is such a huge diversity there. I truly believe you were in a great place to at least display one of your mosaic works of art, or any of your works of art. I think mosaic catches the eye of the muggles better than a granny square, right?
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be danged if my 22-year-old granddaughter didn't contact me the other day and asked if I could make her a granny square sweater, because it's back in
That's awesome. It is. It's amazing.
And I'm just like, really? All the beautiful things I can do, and you want that? I'm like, I'll make it.
I can do this in my sleep. But if that's what she wants, you know, have her. I would have her, because it's a family member, you know, maybe go with you to pick out colors or something. Yeah.
And, you know, it was funny because I did have one of the kiddos. They were doing some work there with me and cleaning up the basement type stuff. And she's like, "Oh, are you crocheting?" First of all, I was shocked she knew what it was, because she's probably 16. She's just. And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I want to learn to crochet." And she pulls up this picture on her phone. She says, "I want to make this." And it's, honest to God, a crocheted granny square scarf. I'm like,
and that's what she wants to learn to make? Oh my goodness.
So she can make a granny square scarf. I'm like,
well,
I can
talk about it, and teach, you know, that's an attainable goal.
Yeah, it is.
And is it motifs put together, or is it a rectangle granny?
No, it was motifs put together. And in the middle of each one of the granny squares was a little daisy.
Oh, those are beautiful.
It was adorable is what it was. Absolutely adorable.
Robin, I am 8 miles away from my delivery.
Are ya?
Yeah. So I need to say adios and have a
delightful.
Hasn't this been fun? I love sitting and chatting with you.
We got two people that'll never stop talking.
Yeah. These two never shut up. That's for sure. Yep. So I am in Southern California. I'm delivering this load. It's a pretty simple. It's not a live unload like I had at Spokane, but I drop the trailer, pick up an empty, I go back to our yard, drop the empty, pick up a loaded trailer, and roll for Denver. And I'm not going over I-70 because I've got a 14-foot trailer, and you can't take 14-foot trailers through the Eisenhower Tunnel. You have to go around Arapahoe Basin. But this time of year, I don't like to gamble with what that road is going to be like. So I'm going to go through Albuquerque. I'm going to hang a left at Albuquerque.
Okay.
And go to Denver. That's what he wished he would have done. He wished he would have taken a left turn at Albuquerque. So we have a viewer. Karen ABQ tells me that she lives right there in Albuquerque.
Yes,
I'll be waving at her.
That's what the ABQ stands for.
ABQ. So I'm going to the ABQ and hanging a left. So, Robin, this has been fun. This has been a lot of fun. And it made those hours fly by.
I appreciate you being available every time.
I'm usually ready in a pinch.
Oh, there's Miss Batman.
Hi, Batman.
Why aren't you in school, Batman?
Okay, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. Robin, it's been great, as usual. I want everybody to have a wonderful day. I want everybody to finish this sentence for me. Oh, now I can't think of what. Never mind. It just left me. What does Tim McGraw tell us to do? Does anybody know? Always be. It's something I was listening to this week.
Always be cruising.
No.
ABC.
Always be. Always be
happy. I don't know.
I just watch the comments, and somebody's going to put it in there. Always be. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go. Have a great day. I love you guys. Love you, Robin.
Love you. We'll see you at Bingo Monday.
See ya, Bingo. How do I get out of here? Where's the door to this place? It's always so awkward. Okay.
Remove. There. You're gone. Boom. Just like that. She's gone. Well, that was so much fun. And I really appreciate her saving my tail this morning. Online class. Okay. And the funny thing is, I actually had something I was going to ask her, and it didn't happen. Oh, it's just so funny. Between her and me, we will go on forever and ever and ever.
Humble and kind.
Always be humble and kind. Always be humble and kind. Yeah, that. Oh, okay. I see Leslie. Kind. Always be kind. There we go. So I don't know what happened to Miss Salena. I did not hear from her. And so any number of things could be the issue. I always worry when, and it does happen. I do have guests not show up for one reason or another. And so far, it's never been a really horrible thing. I have had power outages. One time I had Peppermint, you need to get in there and pick your numbers. Go into the video. It says, I think it says numbers for October, November, December. So just go on in there and get your numbers. If you go to my YouTube, let me see. And it's the picture of the old lady. It says, out of my way, I'm going to bingo. Let me do this. I'll do it right this second too. I do not think I have it attached in my playlist yet. So let me do that real quick. And that'll make it a lot easier to find. Okay, so I got to go to YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio. Okay. Every time I type in YouTube Studio, it wants to take me to the music one. But I know I already have YouTube Studio in here. I go there all the time. Ouch. Okay, I'll do it on my other phone because I know how to access it on there. It'll be more quicker. Okay, go here, push that. Content, videos, and it is down a ways. It's before. Pick your bingo numbers. Okay, right here. And add to playlists. We're adding it to. I know I have a bingo. There it is. Okay. Done. Save. Give it a second. Okay. So it should be in the playlist for bingo now. So let's go check that. Go to me. Go to me. Your channel. So across the top where you see playlists, right there, click on playlists. Bingo on my phone, it pops up as the second playlist. Hit bingo. And it's the one at the very bottom. So it says pick your bingo numbers 4 is the title, is what you're going to see. Well, you know where it is, but I'll go back into YouTube Studio and I'll change the title and I'll put October, November, December first. So you'll know that's the one you're looking for. So Batman, upcoming videos, other than my regular ones, that's okay, Pam. We were just chit-chatting. We were supposed to have Miss Salena Baca on, and something happened and she didn't show up. So Miss Dana jumped in and we just chit-chatted for an hour and a half because that's what we do while she was driving, getting into where she had to go. Upcoming, as a rule, on Fridays, I have my Finish It Friday video, and that's where you see where I'm at on all my different projects. And sometimes those don't. Yes, we got that, Dana. Be humble and kind. Mr. looked it up. So, and I appreciate you being kind this morning and jumping in and saving my bacon today. So typically I've got my Finish It Friday, which sometimes doesn't get up there till Saturday or so. It just, life gets in the way. And then, of course, Monday night we have bingo. And in theory, Tuesday mornings, we have our guest speaker. Now, I didn't mention it, but next week's guest speaker, you guys are going to want to be here. We have, and I believe I'm going from memory here, her name is Pam from Furls Crochet. Yep. So she is the marketing person for Furls Crochet, and she's going to be our guest next week. So I'm super, super excited about that. I'm ready to bend their ear and see what kind of specials they've got coming up and have her show us some of her pretties. Yep, from Furls. Yeah, that's going to be so cool. So cool. So regular time, 8:00 Pacific. And yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked when they agreed to come on. And I was like, oh, I wonder if she realizes how small I am. Because sometimes I just throw caution to the wind and invite somebody. And you never know. You never know who's going to say yes. You never know who's going to. And so thank you, Angela. This is kind of how it works for me. Every week, I send out, Mr. That's not going to work. No. A little too noisy. Every week, I send out 10 to 12 invitations for speakers. Of those 10 to 12, I will get a response probably from 3. The rest just ignore me. Yeah, Batman said no, absolutely not. Too loud.
No, too quiet.
Too loud. So I'll get a response from 3. And of those 3 responses, I'll get a yes from 1.
No.
So that's the struggle to get speakers on here. If they're too big, I never hear anything from them. A lot of times I can't even find a way to connect with them, like the big ones. You have to write a letter to them. And I have done that. I have written letters to people and got no response. I have emailed people and gotten no response. I have popped onto their Facebook page where in theory they're there looking at their own Facebook page and gotten no response. So I really am, I'm doing my best to get some cool speakers in here. So when I get somebody like Glenda, or I get somebody like the Furls rep that agree to come on, I am stunned. I am stunned when they actually say yes. And Salena Baca, I am stunned when they say yes. So it's really heartbreaking when you get this set up and then something happens like today and they don't make it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for you guys because you expect that person to be here. It's frustrating for me. I feel bad. I feel bad for me and I feel bad for you guys because you're expecting this guest and you got me. So don't think that I am just blowing this off. It hurts me too. It does. It hurts me too. Max, we got somebody in the front yard. Max, quiet. Use your inside voice. Use your inside voice. And so it's hard work getting these guests for you guys. And that's one of the reasons I'm ever so appreciative when somebody does come on here, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. It's a time commitment for the guests, and it's a time commitment for me as well. Somebody asked me yesterday, which is easier, doing lives or doing recordings? And they both have their advantages and disadvantages. And if I was doing a live where it's just me sitting here chit-chatting with you and crocheting while we chit-chat, maybe that wouldn't be as hard. But my lives, I put a lot of work into getting the guests here. And it's not just, hey, you want to come on my show? I research the guests. I make sure they're a good fit for us. I try to find different types of guests, people that do cross stitch, people that do knitting, people that do weaving, people that make their own yarn. So we've got different things to talk about. So there's a lot of research that goes into that. And then when I get a guest booked, I go and watch a ton of their videos. I go and look at their blogs. I try to come up with information that I think you guys want to know about. Yeah, I know, Dana. It's just kind of, you get smacked down. It's hard to get back up sometimes. But here's something else. I'm going to ask you guys that have hung out with me this whole time. Throw some names out for me. Who would you like to see on here? And it doesn't have to be completely realistic. I have no problem throwing myself out at some big names. More than likely, they've already told me no. Or just ignored me. And just because they ignored me 2 months ago doesn't mean I won't try again. Again, I have no problem doing that. Thank you so much, Batman. I have no problem shaming myself. Shaming myself? That's not the right word. But I have no problem throwing myself out there. The worst they can do is say no. When I get somebody that says yes, I am beyond thrilled. I am beyond thrilled. And even Miss Dana, she's been on here multiple times, and usually it's saving me from a situation. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I know that you're busy and you're working and you're trying to pay attention to what you're doing. And, for you to just drop everything and pop in and visit with us, it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. And I know that everybody, today was a different show, wasn't it? We talked about everything on here. And that's the fun thing about our community, is we don't have to always be talking about yarn. We don't always have to be talking about our latest project. We talk about everything, and it's enjoyable. I know I enjoy it. And not only am I thrilled when we get a guest that agrees to come on here, I am thrilled. And Dana and I were talking about it when I first brought her up. I'm like, okay, it might just be you and me, Dana. I'm almost always shocked and surprised when people pop in here and spend an hour with us or 2 hours with us. We're sitting there going, okay, I don't see anybody here yet. I got to get through the commercials, and I know that's a pain, and I appreciate it. Just for general knowledge, for those of you that don't know, people always wonder, how do you get paid for being on YouTube? From you guys watching the commercials, that's how we get paid. And it's this much. It's pennies. I think I saw something the other day, and it's different for different YouTubers because when you're at different levels, you get paid differently. But it's like for every 4,000 commercials that get watched, I get 45 cents. So, and all you got to do is let 30 seconds of the commercial. Okay, Pam, Bag a Day is never going to go on a live. It doesn't happen. Cinnamon Stitches will never go on a live. It doesn't happen. And they've said before, they don't do it. I would love Cinnamon Stitches to get on here. She does not do people's lives. She doesn't do it. And Fiber Spider, I have invited him. And I'll leave it at that. Haven't heard back. He's one of the ones where you got to send a letter. And I sent the letter. Have not heard back. So maybe I'd love to have him on here. I can, and I'll reach out to Cinnamon Stitches again. But that particular group, don't anticipate ever seeing any of them on my show. Don't anticipate it. Oh, okay. Thank you, Smiley Lady. The other thing that I was wondering, and I don't know, because it was funny, this last batch of emails that I sent out, I sent to a lot of bloggers, and I used the email. Nope, that's what I want is suggestions. The worst they can do is ignore me. The second worst they can do is say no. But my feeling, here's my thought process with that. How many subscribers does Bag a Day have? A lot. How many emails do you think she gets? A bazillion. What's the chances that she ever even saw my message? That much. Not to mention, I don't know about you guys, but I've sent emails or I've gotten emails and they go right in the garbage. They go right in your trash thing and you never even see them. So I think there is that as part of the equation as well, that they honestly don't ever even see the request. I have the funny one. I have sent a couple. Linda was on here. She was one of my first ones. She was on, I want to say like week 5 or 6. It was a wonderful, wonderful interview with Linda. In fact, after she was on, she started doing the interviews. So she has such a good time with it that she's incorporated that into her show now too. And I'll tell you what, she has gotten some incredibly big names. And I'm like, how? I can't even find a contact for some of the people that she has had on her show. So I am very, very impressed with that. And I'm like, good on her. Good on her. I would love to get Mikey on here. I can't find any contact information for him. So yeah, that's the other thing. It's a big community. And maybe somebody who doesn't know I exist is somebody you communicate with. So if you communicate with somebody that you would like to have on here, hook me up. Hook me up. I would love to do that because, if you whisper in somebody's ear that is someone that you visit with, that goes a long ways than just some strange weird lady contacting them. Here's the other thing. I did contact a couple people and it didn't completely surprise me, but when I contacted them, they only do things like this for pay. I mean, that's how they make their money. This is their job. And so it's a paid appearance. And so that's not happening. I could make them a potholder. I could make them a potholder dishcloth set, right? But yeah, I've contacted some pattern designers that I'd love to have on here. So yeah, and normally I am booked 8 weeks out because I don't like to be up against the wall. And I do not have a lot of bookings for December. I'm running up against the wall of getting new bodies in here. So worst case, we may be having visiting. We have visiting times. It's just not for you. But I keep trying, and I will keep sending out emails, and I will keep getting guests. Right this minute, let me think. 1, 2. My next 3 shows are booked. So we're good. We're good almost a month out. And I am, Designs is on my list, Pam. And I probably for the last month, I have wanted to invite her. Her mom just passed away a week or two, and her mom's been very, very ill, and I did not want to throw that out there while her mom was ill. And then her mom went into oh my gosh, I can't remember. You know, where you're getting ready to die. And so I've been keeping close on her. And then her mom did pass away, I want to say 2 weeks ago now. I'm giving her a little bit of room. I've been on contacting her. You know, Christmas is going to be really hard for her this year. So I'll probably contact her maybe late December, see if we can set something up in January. I just want to give her time to catch her breath. So, and Pamela's adoring crochet. I've got a yes from her. We have not been able to date yet. So probably again after the holidays. And that might be what happens is I pick some people up after the holidays. I have another really cool designer, and she's scheduled for January. So I have a feeling we're going to pick up, and it's just December. It's hard. And as us crafters, December is insane for us. But here's the other thing. We've got a huge craft show coming up. There will be probably 300 vendors at this craft show, and I'm going to see if I can't grab somebody from there. But they could be busy. If they're local ones, I might be able to grab someone for a visit. If they do the circuit, I may not be able to do them. So that's another place that I get names from is local craft fairs, where you've got people that are doing just amazing products. And so, yeah, I'm always thinking, I'm always working on it, and trying to come up with great. Yep. Oh, I do that too, Pam. I absolutely do that too. It's funny because sometimes new YouTubers don't realize that they don't have any contact information in their stuff. And I've done that. I've written comments and said, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you. Do you have an email address? Sometimes I hear from them. Sometimes I think they're like, who's this weirdo? So, but yeah, I'm always looking. I'm always looking. And I love the idea. I love those ideas that you guys have given me. And funny because sometimes you see people and you see them everywhere, and then you send a message and you don't hear anything. So it's like, I just feel like there's no way they just never got the message. They didn't get the message. So, but Pink Sheep is on my list. I'm going to star that because she is absolutely on my list. I've got, in fact, this book, the book that I showed you, my book, I've got a page on here of contacts, and this is all people that I've got listed there that I want to contact. So Pink Sheep, let me get in here and pull her name up real quick. PINK SHEEP. Is it Pink Sheep Designs? Yeah, design. There it is. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. So I will I'll send her a message today. Oh, and I'm perfectly. I've been on a few people's shows. When I get asked, I'm happy to go on someone's show. Absolutely. Yeah, I got to learn Instagram. Maybe Batman can teach me Instagram when she comes to town. I'm so bad at that kind of thing. So bad. But anyway, we are at the 2-hour mark, and I feel like I'm just babbling now. I've got to figure out how to get a couple other computery things figured out. I'm so spring, yeah, Batman. I need a manager I need a social network manager. When do you graduate, Batman? Are you done with school in December? You got to be getting close to finals. Eek. Yeah. I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I first started my YouTube channel, I took a class. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't horrendously expensive. It was a couple $100. And I took this class. And Batman comes walking in the door and she says, "What are you doing?" And I says, "Oh, I just signed up for a class on how to do YouTube." And she's like, "You signed up for a class?" I go, "Yeah." And she's like, "Dude, she'll never let me live it down." But yeah, unless you got one of those kind of people in your world, you sign up for a class for everything. Super close. 2 finals are due December 3rd, and last day of semester is December 8th. Cool beans. You're getting there. You are getting there. Getting there. And I heard I might get to share some turkey with Batman on Thanksgiving, depending on the weather. That's what I heard. Pretty excited about that. And I think Miss Morgan has to work that day. She may be with us earlier in the day, though. Is that the plan, Batman? Is she going to be with us earlier in the day? Batman and Morgan are best friends. That's how I met Miss Morgan, was through Batman. So that's the story of that. All right, y'all. I've got Pink Sheep up on my list. Oh, there's Miss Handmaid. Hi. I've got Miss Pink Sheep up on my phone right now. I'm going to drop her a note and see if we can get her on here. That'll be super fun. I'm going to try to figure out why I cannot get onto my website at my job, because, you know, they tell me that I'm all set and ready to go. Turkey hunting? Well, there's a lot of them out there. There's some big ones. I hope you aren't planning on, I hope that's not what we're having for dinner. Relying on y'all bringing something home. Oh my goodness, you guys. Stop. Hey, shh, quiet. Those dogs. All right. We're going to call this. We'll see you guys. For sure, I'll have one, if not 2 videos. I still have one more Hawaii video to post. So I want to get that Hawaii video posted. I've got 3 doctor's appointments this week, so I may not get much extra stuff done. Worst case, we'll have Finish It Friday, and we'll see you on Monday for bingo. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us today when I feel like we did a little bait and switch there. The dogs are saying goodbye.